The Zika virus reaches the U.S. The United Nations wants to censor the internet. And is President Obama about to disclose the existence of ET? This is SkyWatchTV for Tuesday, May 24th, 2016. I'm Derek Gilbert. First up, the Pentagon is developing a self-aware killer robot that's fueled by social media. This sounds like science fiction, the first step towards Skynet and the Terminator. But in an important new article by Nafiz Ahmed at Medium.com, he reports on an unclassified document from the Department of Defense that reveals that the U.S. military plans to create an autonomous, artificially intelligent weapons system that uses predictive social media analytics to make decisions on using lethal force. Understand what that means. Analyzing Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, other social media, blog posts, websites to determine who needs killing. Now, officials promise that humans will retain a meaningful degree of control over these autonomous weapon systems, but Pentagon documents confirm that work is underway to develop swarms of self-aware, interconnected robots to design and execute kill operations against robot-selected targets. The DoD believes that within 15 years, mission planning, target selection, and deployment of lethal force can be delegated to entirely autonomous weapons systems in the air, on land, and at sea. And their threat assessments will be based on what you and I post to our blogs, websites, and social media accounts. What could possibly go wrong? Now, over at Langley, the CIA reports that its Inspector General, essentially the watchdog over the agency, accidentally deleted its only copy of a controversial Senate report about the CIA's history of enhanced interrogation techniques, what some, like you and me, might call torture. Accidentally deleted its only copy. The 6,700-page report was uploaded to the Inspector General's computer network at the office, and the hard drive that transported the document was destroyed. Now, apparently this is standard operating procedure, security. But then somebody at the office accidentally wiped the document off the network as well. Now, the CIA still has a copy of the report. There are other copies out there as well. But the document is the subject of a court battle right now over whether it should be opened to the public through the Freedom of Information Act. So government agencies have been instructed not to open the file, because if they do, then they might have to release it before the CIA wants it released, accidentally. And what is going on at airports here in the U.S. lately? Last week, it became clear that something has changed in security protocol, and lines are now taking hours to get through. Places like Chicago, where Midway and O'Hare, last week it was reported that people were missing flights because it was taking them hours to get through security checkpoints. Well, this is just me speculating here, but the Transportation Security Administration's budget has increased by 7% over the last 10 years, while the number of passengers going through airports who need screening has decreased by 5%. So Congress has diverted about $13 billion out of the TSA's budget over the last couple of years, since 2013, to help pay down the deficit. Drop in the bucket, but still. So you have to wonder, is this the TSA's way of putting pressure on Congress to give the money back? Well, here in America, one thing we can be thankful for, besides living in a smaller community where the TSA checkpoint line is usually like 3 people, is that speech is still free in America, mostly, unless you want to challenge climate change science in Portland, Oregon. The school board there voted last week to ban all material that denies the existence of man-made climate change. A former teacher who testified before the school board criticized one textbook that read, and I quote, "Carbon dioxide emissions from motor vehicles, power plants, and other sources may contribute to global warming," end quote. Apparently that wasn't definitive enough for the teacher, who said that that section could have been written by ExxonMobil. And so the Portland School Board has voted to cut off all debate. This parents is indoctrination. It is brainwashing. Taking it a step further, the United Nations Security Council wants a global framework to counter what they call online propaganda, hateful ideologies, and digital terrorism. The UN Counterterrorism Committee has been asked to draw up a plan for this by next year. Now, you might think, well, this will probably go nowhere like most of what the UN does, except that some of the world's largest technology and internet companies are all on board. A Microsoft executive gave a speech to the UN Security Council on May 11th. He called for public-private partnerships to battle online propaganda. Now, bear in mind that Microsoft, Google, Yahoo, and other technology giants have publicly endorsed the United Nations 2030 Agenda 2030, which is nothing more than technocracy. Basically, the plan is this: we give up all of our privacy so that technocrats can measure everything that we do, quantify our energy use, food consumption, etc., and then decide how much we really need in order to optimally balance out supply and demand of critical resources. This move to regulate speech on the internet is part of a broader UN agenda called Preventing Violent Extremism, which, considering some of the member nations in the UN, is a definition so broad you could drive a truck through it. This plan calls for a global war on ideologies, whatever that means. Well, I'll tell you what it means. Actually, it's a planet-wide effort to stamp out anti-Muslim bigotry, anti-immigration sentiments, and more like that. Now, considering that our own government here in the United States has labeled conservative Christians like us religious extremists, I wouldn't expect anything good to come out of this UN initiative. Here at home, the economy is struggling. I told you back on April 26th about a retirement fund called the Central States Pension Fund. This is a retirement plan that covers more than 400,000 people that will run out of money within 10 years if something drastic doesn't change. Now, these people are workers and retirees from about 1,500 different companies, most of them truck drivers. Administrators back in April proposed a plan cutting benefits by as much as 60% to 115,000 retirees. The Treasury Department, which oversees pension funds, has rejected the plan because it says the cuts aren't deep enough to keep the fund solvent. Now, the fund administrators could submit a new plan, but they decided last week that there's no point because there's no way to cut deep enough to save the fund and still comply with the law, what they're legally obligated to give retirees. So the problem here is this. Normally, when a pension fund goes belly up, something called the Pension Benefit Guarantee Corporation, it's like the FDIC, but for retirement funds, kicks in so that retirees will get something out of the pension fund. But the PBGC benefit is smaller than what the administrators of the plan had proposed. The other problem is that the PBGC is underfunded itself, and it wouldn't be able to cover all of the retirees in the Central States Pension Fund. So the Treasury Department is kicking this can over to Congress, hoping that Congress can do something. We'll see what happens here, but the reason I bring you this story is because it's a canary in a coal mine. Unfunded pensions and pension liabilities are a ticking time bomb in the American economy. For example, my home state of Illinois, as I've mentioned before, looking at over $110 billion currently in unfunded pension liabilities. And another sign that the economy is in for some rough sailing here. Wendy's, fast food restaurants, announced last week that self-serve kiosks will be made available across its 6,000 stores in the second half of this year. Why? Because minimum wage laws are pushing up the cost of hiring live people. So it'll be up to franchise owners to determine whether they want to continue using live checkout, live people at the register, or to install these self-serve kiosks. McDonald's is also testing the kiosks. My guess is that stores in larger cities like Chicago, New York, and LA, where the minimum wage now is $10 an hour or more, will probably be the first stores to see these kiosks. But watch for them to spread. Something odd happening off the coast of Singapore, another bellwether for the economic future. The red dots on the graphic on your screen indicate ships at anchor, or ships that are barely moving, essentially parked, oil tankers, or cargo ships. They've turned the Straits of Malacca, which is one of the world's most important shipping lanes, into a virtual parking lot, currently holding tens of millions of dollars of flammable cargo, oil. The global glut of oil has pulled prices down by 70% since 2014, and it's nowhere near over. The amount of oil sitting in so-called floating storage has increased by 20% over the last year. The Zika virus is no longer a stranger to the United States. The Centers for Disease Control reported Friday that 157 pregnant women in the U.S. have tested positive for the virus. This was the first time the CDC has released the number of Zika-infected pregnant women in the U.S. And meanwhile, researchers at the University of Texas say that they've successfully cloned the virus. They say this helps them study the potential dangers of the virus and could lead to a vaccine. And the Ebola virus just won't go away. A study of recent victims in West Africa found that the virus has been transmitted through breast milk and semen. This indicates that the virus may remain viable in body fluids a lot longer than previously thought, which means it will be a lot harder to effectively wipe out. In spite of additional rain from El Nino, the Lake Mead Reservoir near Las Vegas continues to drop to new lows. The city of 2 million people and its 40 million visitors every year get almost all their drinking water from Lake Mead, which reached an all-time low last week. Experts say it's due to strains on the over-allocated Colorado River. And finally, President Obama could be on the verge of revealing a secret that has beguiled ufologists for generations: the existence of intelligent extraterrestrial life. Well, there's one activist who believes that the president will make this public. This according to Steve Bassett, executive director of the Paradigm Research Group, which is the only registered alien disclosure lobby in Washington, D.C. He's been campaigning for this since the Clinton administration. Well, news, those entities are real, they're just not what he thinks they are. This week on SkyWatch TV, we continue our discussion with Tom Horn and Chris Putnam about their forthcoming book, available at the end of May, The Final Roman Emperor, the Islamic Antichrist, and the Vatican's Last Crusade. The program is available for you now on the SkyWatch TV channel on Roku. If you need instructions on how to add that to your Roku account or need more information on what Roku is, log on to skywatchtv.com/Roku. You can also check it out 4 different places tonight: the Victory Television Network, WGGN TV in Sandusky, Ohio, WLLA TV in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and Coast to Coast at 8:30 p.m. tonight Central Time on the Christian Television Network. That's DirecTV Channel 376, Dish Network 267, and the Glory Star Satellite Channel 117. Tomorrow, it's Coast to Coast on the Cornerstone Network at 2:30 p.m. And then Saturday, again on the Victory Television Network and the Christian Television Network. And we have a complete list of where and when you can watch SkyWatch TV on our network television affiliates, posted at skywatchtv.com. Just look in the top menu bar there where it says Channels. If you had hoped to get to the Rocky Mountain International Prophecy Conference but couldn't make it, schedule wouldn't allow, or finances wouldn't allow, we've got another option for you to bring it to you live and in real time. That's the live video stream. 25 speakers, 32 presentations, piped right into your home via the internet. And those will be archived for 6 weeks after the conference for you to go back and review, share with your friends. If you'd like more information or to sign up for the live stream, log on to prophecywatchers.com. During the month of May, for your gift of $20 or more, books and other gifts that your mom will hopefully find very useful. Survive the Unthinkable, a total guide to women's self-protection and favorite family meals. A personal journal for her to record her thoughts, hopes, and dreams for her family, and a beautiful mug for her tea or coffee. We'll send all of those to you for your donation of $20 or more while supplies last during the month of May. To donate, log on to skywatchtv.com/donate. And when you find us online, you can help us by just sharing. All it takes is a mouse click. Click like, click share, click subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. That gets the word around, and we do thank you for that. And of course, your comments, questions, and suggestions are always welcome at dgilbert@skywatchtv.com. We thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is SkyWatch TV.
Coming exclusively from SkyWatchTV for a very limited time starting May 31st, 2016. When you purchase the new book and final report from Tom Horn and Chris Putnam, The Final Roman Emperor, the Islamic Antichrist, and the Vatican's Last Crusade, you'll receive the largest giveaway of 2016, an unprecedented value of over $200 in free books, DVDs, audio files, and a data DVD library with tens of thousands of pages of ancient literature no longer available, as well as movies, WikiLeaks files the government does not want you to see, and more for your library or to give away as gifts. Included in this biggest giveaway of 2016 are Chris Putnam's full-length DVD presentation, Astrobiology and the Vatican ET Connection, the new 5-part SkyWatchTV special investigative report on the book The Final Roman Emperor, plus 2 mystery books with a $40 value, and a data DVD library with thousands of pages of ancient literature, movies, and audio series for your library or to give away as gifts. And for the first several thousand customers while supplies last, you'll also receive Satan's Dirty Little Secret, the 2 demon spirits that all demons get their strength from. Satan, You Can't Have My Promises, the spiritual warfare guide to reclaim what's yours. What Happens When I Die, true stories of the afterlife and what they tell us about eternity. Becoming a Prayer Warrior, a guide to effective and powerful prayer. An unprecedented value of over $200 in never-before-offered free products. And the biggest giveaway of 2016, yours absolutely free when you purchase The Final Roman Emperor from SkyWatchTV.com for only $19.95 plus shipping, beginning May 31st. But be advised, this astonishing promotion is limited to first come, first serve while supplies last. So it's urgent, beginning May 31st, 2016. You place your order for the final book and biggest prediction yet in this 4-year investigation by internationally acclaimed best-selling authors Tom Horn and Chris Putnam. The Final Roman Emperor, the Islamic Antichrist, and the Vatican's Last Crusade for only $19.95 plus shipping. This offer is on a limited time basis and will end without notification. So be sure to visit SkyWatchTV.com to follow the updates in the countdown to the biggest giveaway of 2016. Order the new book by Tom Horn and Chris Putnam on May 31st to receive the unprecedented value of over $200 while supplies last. Free products limited to quantity on hand and may be replaced by products of equal value.